Hey everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your news report, second stimulus check update, and second stimulus package update.
On this issue, though, I'm afraid we just are going to have to differ. And I just want to say this. Nothing could be more targeted. No relief could be more important than relief for working people. Well, the senator's right. This body has spent trillions of dollars this year alone on COVID relief. We're getting ready to spend apparently another $1 trillion more. And yet, working people are told they may be last, if they get relief at all. I don't think the American people understand that. I know people in Missouri don't understand it. And I just urge members of these bodies, go home and try explaining that to the people of your state. Go ahead. Just try. Try telling them why this body can bail out the banks. We bailed out the banks to such a tune that now they've got money left over. Now we're going to take money back because we spent so much on Wall Street and the banks in the first part of this year. That's right. In fact, now I understand that my Democrat colleagues don't want to shut down all of the bank money because who knows what we might be able to do with that in the future. Oh, they're fine. They're more than fine. They're doing great. Now, Wall Street is doing great. Big tech, they're doing great. The big multinational corporations, fantastic. Working people are living in their cars. Working people can't go to the doctor. Working people can't pay their rent. Working people can't feed their children. They should be first, Mr. President, not last. And it is no answer for this body to tell them, go get in an unemployment line. Really? That's the response? Go get in an unemployment line. Now, the working people of this country, frankly, deserve better. They deserve to be the top priority, just like they have made this country the top priority in their lives and their families. This is not the end of this fight, Mr. President. I'm here right now on this floor. Senator Sanders will be back in a matter of hours to ask again for the same measure. Again, I've been proud to partner with him on this effort, and I will keep working with whomever it takes for however long it takes until we get the working people of this country relief. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
According to The Hill, multiple economists say that stimulus checks should take backseat to jobless aid. According to The Hill, direct payments in the form of $600 or $1,200 stimulus checks are undoubtedly popular with most Americans. But economists say targeted funds for unemployed workers would do more for the economy, since those households are less likely to put the money into their savings. Folks, tell me in the comments down below, do you think that Congress should pass more stimulus payments, or should they extend the unemployment benefits? According to the New York Times, the Senate cleared a week-long stopgap spending bill to buy time for an elusive pandemic aid bill. The New York Times goes on to say that Congress missed yet another deadline on Friday to deliver an economic stimulus package to help struggling Americans weather the pandemic, instead agreeing to extend government funding for an additional week as leaders continue to search for a deal. Now, before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. On this channel, we always provide you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check updates. So be sure to subscribe and click the bell.
And I've really been looking for some semblance of an agreement by today, and I'll give them a couple more days of grace. But just the amount of time it would take to, paper the deal in the legislative process and then move it through both chambers of Congress, if they want it to continue to be attached to this federal spending bill that, as Elon was saying, that expires or will soon expire next Friday, I really would need to see some announcement that they've reached a deal by end of the day Monday at the absolute latest.
Jimmy, some of the main sticking points appear to be over jobless benefits. Speaker Pelosi said she didn't like the White House proposal that got rid of the extra $300 bonus, but it does have the direct payments, the stimulus check that Hawley and Sanders are pushing for. So how likely do you think it is that a second stimulus check is coming, and could that be a way to resolve both disputes on both of these?
Now folks, tell me in the comments down below, who do you think is to blame for holding back your second stimulus check? But according to CBS News, a $908 billion bipartisan proposal will leave out stimulus payments, focusing instead on providing jobless workers with an additional $300 in weekly unemployment aid. On December 8th, the Treasury Secretary also proposed a $916 billion package that would provide stimulus checks worth $600 per person, although it would cut back on unemployment aid, according to the Wall Street Journal. Now, senators, including Bernie Sanders of Vermont, are insisting that any relief bill include another round of checks worth $1,200 for low and middle income Americans. That is the same amount offered under the $2 trillion CARES Act. Sanders, who is joined by Sanders, who was joined by Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, pledged to force a vote on the proposal before lawmakers adjourn for the year on December 18th. Sanders said on the Senate floor, "What I don't understand is that at a time when in many ways the crisis is worse today than it was in March, why we are not responding accordingly. Again, we must make certain that every working family in this country receives a $1,200 direct payment, plus $500 for their kids." Bernie Sanders also tweeted out, "If Congress can afford to give giant subsidies to the fossil fuel industry and a $1 trillion tax break to the top 1%, then we can afford $1,200 direct payments to every working class adult in America." If you agree with Bernie Sanders, everybody, then leave a comment down below saying, "I agree."
Millions of families are struggling. They are struggling right now to put food on the table. They're struggling to get health care for their kids and for themselves. They're struggling not to get evicted from their apartments. They're struggling to get the few dollars they need to take care of their basic necessities. That is what's going on economically. And what I am fighting for right now is to make sure that when we talk about a COVID piece of legislation, an emergency bill, it must absolutely include at least $1,200 for every adult. This is what was in the CARES bill a while back, and $500 for every child.
Now, CBS News goes on to say that the Treasury Department stimulus plan is backed by the White House and offers good and bad news for cash-strapped Americans. On one hand, it suggests that the administration is willing to discuss a larger stimulus package, but it also muddies the waters for early negotiations on a bipartisan $908 billion stimulus plan. In the meantime, Congress remains deadlocked over the inclusion of provisions on state and local funding sought by Democrats. These issues remain a stumbling block heading into the weekend of December 12th, creating more uncertainty for the prospects of a stimulus deal. According to CBS News, Mnuchin said his offer includes funding for state and local governments, as well as the liability shield. But his offer would also cut unemployment aid from the $180 billion proposed by the bipartisan bill to $40 billion. That's according to a joint statement from Speaker Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Rather than agreeing, so we've sort of agreed on a big number. Do you think that would be like 99% of it, agreeing on the $900 billion, which is a tremendous amount of money, and then coming to agreement on some of these other portions? The fact that we have not figured that out yet, the fact that we're adding sort of new wrinkles, and the fact that we've known about this for months, that we've needed more stimulus to sort of create a bridge to when we have these vaccines, and the fact that it's not done, that reality in and of itself, I think, is the greatest reason for pessimism.
So, Stephanie, a couple of things. Leader McConnell last week said, "We are not leaving Washington without getting this done." He was referring to the skinny bill that he unveiled that didn't have state and local, that didn't have the liability shield. So is it possible that we go through all of this and it is the skinny bill that gets done, or do you think the only way this moves forward is if it's in the kind of $900 billion compromise range, either the bipartisan plan that we saw last week or the kind of newer White House version?
Yeah, and Pelosi has made similar comments with a similar sentiment. So both the leaders in both chambers have basically said no one's leaving.
The Senate approved a one-week stopgap bill to keep federal spending flowing until next Friday. Said folks, that is all the news in today's video. If you found this video useful, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell. Thank you for watching, everybody, and until next time, have a great day.